Hi everybody. Today I'm going to share some tips about faux calligraphy. I have been doing a fair bit of it lately, and I thought I'd share because I've had a really good reaction to it online. So here's an example of what I posted on Instagram, this word lucky. It was for St. Patrick's Day. So faux calligraphy basically means that you're faking out brush lettering. So if you know what brush lettering is, let's take a look at these words here, lucky. So brush lettering is using a brush pen that's flexible, making thick and thin lines, and faux calligraphy is faking out that effect with outlines. Okay, so I've collected some supplies here, so let's take a look at what we have. I am using the Tombow mono drawing pencils. These are wonderful pencils for all kinds of drawing projects and illustrations, anything. And you get this, if you get this set, you have kind of a full meal deal here. They're professional quality pencils, and there's 12 in this set, ranging from I think 4B to 6H. I am using this 3H, and you also get a sharpener and an eraser, which is the mono light. And the mono erasers with Tombow are beautiful. They're plastic erasers, and they erase wonderfully. So that's my pencil that I'm going to start with. And then I don't have actually a ruler, so I'm just going to use my blending palette as my ruler. So we'll write the word. I'll show you how to write the word rainbow after we do just some basic letters. And the cool thing about faux calligraphy is you do not need to have a specific style of writing or printing. You can just have your own style. I'll zoom in, and I'm going to write darker than I normally would. So for an A, like you could do a really nice A, and like this, okay? Or you could do something more stylized, like this. And then the trick is, for all of your letters, is to do, to fill in the thick lines. So I'm just going to show you what that A looks like with this brush pen. So this A with a brush pen would look like this. And this A with the brush pen would look like this. All right, kind of like that. And so basically what we are doing is we are looking at these thick downstrokes. Sorry, I'll get a better pen for that. These thick downstrokes we're going to recreate, and this thick downstroke here we're going to recreate. Okay, so let's take a look at here, and like I said, you're going to use a pencil first. So you just draw your basic letter, and then you add in your downstrokes. Now the question is, do you add these thick downstrokes, your second line, where exactly do you add them? On the inside, on the outside, and that's really, honestly, where I'll just draw another one just so you see what I'm talking about. I find that's personal preference. So if I find that I like this oval in the interior, then I can add my line out there. But you can see it gets a little bit too wide. I mean, honestly, it's just personal preference. And then I would do that. So when I am doing this in general, you'll see when I do a whole word in a moment that I'm going to change it up. Sometimes I'm going to put that second line on the inside, sometimes I'll put it on the outside, and I don't really have a hard and fast rule about that. Now some of you out there might disagree with that, but so let's just do another letter here. So let's do the letter B. The other thing I'll show you with the letter B is, okay, let's see, do this B like this. The other thing I'll show you with the letter B is that I'll do the brush stroke, is I don't like my cross lines to show, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. So there is, whoops, the B. I'll just zoom out a bit. What I mean by that is, if I add in, you can see my thick downstroke here. Oh, I'll add that in, that entrance stroke is too small. And then I'll do that for the B. My loop is pretty big, so it's a little bit off, but that's okay. What I mean by this cross stroke is I don't want it to show here, and that is the value of having it drawn out with a pencil, because then when you are tracing these over with a felt pen, a solid permanent pen, then you can avoid those areas. So I'll do one more. Let's do a C. And definitely after you draw it, I mean, you are drawing these letters, so you can adjust things, and you can make this as wide and as narrow as you like. Sorry, that's my dog. Okay, so let's take a look at the letter C. There we go. And there you can see that thick stroke. All right, so the second part of this process is to take a permanent marker, and here I have the Tombow Mono Twin. So I have two tips. I have a 0.4 millimeter tip on this one end, and this is a permanent marker. And I have a 0.8 millimeter tip on this end. So depending on how big the letters are, these are quite big, I am going to use the wider tip, the thicker bullet tip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to then draw the letters and trace my lines like that. Well, that's a little bit off. Okay. And the key is not to have too many breaks, all right? So that means if I'm going to draw this, I'm not going to stop here in the middle of that curve of the bowl of that A. I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to stop at a better stopping point, which is there. All right. So you can see those are both fairly nice A's. I mean, when I'm doing this on video, it's not always perfect, but I'm satisfied with them. What you do want to avoid, I'll show you what you do want to avoid, is you want to be careful, depending on the size of your nib, is you don't want to see the ends of your strokes too clearly. So I'll show you what that means. I'll draw this oval again. Okay. And I don't want this to happen. I don't want to see this little bit of a line coming out, and I don't want to see it not meeting this secondary line. So I do this very, very, very carefully. Now let's go to the B where I was talking about that cross stroke. So I'm going to go up here to the B, stop there, then I'm going to continue on. And when I come down in one stroke, I'm going to touch the tip of that entrance stroke so I don't see it. I'm going to go right on top of it. So yes, this does require some skill and practice. And you can see how slowly I'm going, but you have to be confident and commit, otherwise your lines will be shaky. Well, that's not too great on the bottom there. Oh, we'll ignore that. Okay, so again, starting the B, I don't want those little end points to show, right? So I'm going to try very carefully to go there and keep that curve nice and smooth and come up and end it so I don't see any beginnings or endings that we talked about, hopefully. And do the same here. That's pretty good. Not too bad. All right, now that we have our letters, these few letters drawn, the next part is I took the Tombow pens, I took a green Tombow pen for that lucky word, which is here, and I filled it in. Now, because the Tombow pens do darken when you layer them, you do want to, I have the 195 here, you do want to be careful when you're filling them in. Actually, I forgot the next step. The next step is to erase. So you're going to erase your pencil lines. Your permanent marker, your mono twin, has already dried. It's quick drying, so that's awesome. And this also cleans up very nicely, so there's no residue left. So off screen, I did some erasing and took off all these pencil marks that were there. And then I'm going to do the filling in. So if you take a look at this lucky word here, I filled it in with the Tombow dual brush pen. And this is a brush tip. And what's nice about using this to fill in is the brush tip has both thick and thin lines. So you can get that tiny tip into these very small parts at the very beginning, these areas. You can just use the tip. And I try to do it in one swipe because I don't want to go over and over and over and over and over again. So I slowly just go down in one section. So the thing is, I'll show you what happens if you, oh, I missed that little bit. If you do go back and forth, so I'll do it on this A. If I'm not able to get that whole area, okay, I didn't do it. I did a good job on that. If I do it a whole, okay, I'll do this top part, and let's say then I do the bottom part. So you can see the pen layers up. Now this comes in handy for creating other effects, but if you want solid coverage, you don't want it to layer up. You want it to be one solid line. So I just recommend, if you do miss an area, so I'll try to miss an area on here. Okay, so if you do miss an area, I don't know if you can see that, you do want to just fill it in and not go over the other parts, just so you keep that color even. It's a little bit tricky. Okay, there's a C I did off camera. So I like to make the thickness of this, this outline of the faux calligraphy, I like to make it as thick as I can get it with this brush tip pen. So again, this is a Tombow dual brush pen. And I thought what I'd do for fun is just to give you an idea of a word being done is I will fast forward this next part, but I'm going to write the word rainbow. All right, and then I'm going to color it in with a rainbow effect, and you can watch that and fast forward. So thanks for watching. You can check down in the description for links to all these products that I mentioned, and also if you're not on my website, join me on my website and blog where I also have this blog post. Thanks for watching and enjoy the fast forward.
Well, every blade of grass that I walk past, it sways like you.